bridge collapsed. The mountain road washed out. All the signs are obscured by fog. Your only directions are detours. Eventually it dawns on you. Sometimes you need to get lost to discover where you're supposed to be. Welcome to Merlin's Barn.
Good evening, and welcome to Merlin's Barn, broadcasting to you once again from above Fort Blanket, south of the Yukon. And this evening you have myself, Merlin.
Got tea, and I have Klaus with me this evening.
Nicole.
And Matt.
He's purring.
And we are on, I don't know if this is 5 or 6 of the, I think 6 of the Alaska Arrest episodes.
I believe it's 6.
6, okay. And so last Alaska episode got us to the amazing, incredible signpost forest, after which we drove down the Gumdrop Highway and...
Say Gumdrop?
The Gumdrop, I've got signpost forest, Gumdrop Highway.
What is this, Candyland?
I was sort of going that direction, or turning it into Narnia, or God knows what else.
Obviously Candyland. It's Candyland. You got Gumdrop Highway. Sold it.
Sold it. Okay, so what do we put next after the Gumdrop Highway?
Does this mean you're like on your way to Queen Faustine's castle?
Oh, that could be Whitehorse.
Oh, that works.
There we go.
Better
That's
than
awesome.
Taylor Swift song.
There we go. Yes, not a Taylor Swift.
It's an
Whitehorse.
early song though.
Capital
so that
of the
one's
Yukon.
Better than most.
Not a Taylor Swift song. What is the Taylor Swift song that you think that is? Or is there an actual Taylor Swift song called Whitehorse?
There is a song called Whitehorse. Waiting for you and your white horse to come around.
Oh, I wonder if they play it a lot in the Yukon. If
I
you're
doubt.
in the Yukon and you play this a lot in Whitehorse, let us know.
I don't know any Taylor Swift songs.
I know a couple of mostly her early catalog. You Lose Me After Speak Now.
I don't know what is with the cats galloping everywhere tonight. It's so if you hear weird noise in the background, the cats have decided their primary mode of movement tonight is galloping.
Especially the largest cat, which thuds the most when he gallops.
Yes. It's cute also when he jumps off of something and you just hear a little...
I think Shy's galloping might be louder than Bubby's.
Yes, but that's because Chai is like a Great Dane in cat form.
What was the other description you had of her earlier?
She has the grace of a chinchilla that has eaten somebody's fishing weights.
Oh, bye, Klaus.
It creates quite an image. And you also
Yes.
realize it would be the most graceless, annoying creature on the planet.
Yes, it does.
All right. So, Tuesday, August 1st, gets us on the road from the signpost forest. Is there something we should be waiting on a comment on?
Nope.
No. Okay, cool. Gets us leaving the signpost forest, and we are headed for Whitehorse that day, which is basically just a slog of a day. Whitehorse is the capital of the Yukon. This was just a long drive, not broken up by much of anything. If you look on Google Maps, it says it's like a 5-hour drive. But then if you figure in driving a bunch of really old Jeeps, some of which are hot-rodded, but all have the ability to break down in interesting ways, just sort of start adding hours on top of that.
If you're interested, for our paid subscribers, we can release that as a real-time episode.
The 5-hour Merlin going, oh, a tree. Oh, look, another tree. Oh, hey, tree.
We have to factor in the extra time for breakdowns.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So it will be a 5+ hour episode.
Do I get to say, are we there yet?
Absolutely.
and over again.
How terrible was just like the white noise of like the tires on like the road and the gravel? And
Just sort of keeps going. I mean, the passenger was the DJ, so at least I had like some sort of music going on or something. But I believe 2017, I had not personally discovered podcasts at that point. This trip would have been so much better if I had discovered podcasts, because then I would have had anything to listen to.
And due to issues with royalties, our paid subscribers to a real-time episode, you will not have that music. So you're only going to have the road noise and Merlin's commentary.
Yes. Hey, a tree. Oh, tree. Ooh, another tree. So during miles of driving through what is, I mean, there's a lot of trees, but it is gorgeous wilderness. I brought up the Alaska lodges last time. This section that we hit, there were a ton of abandoned lodges. In fact, the book, what was it? The book Beyond Mile Zero, the chapter on this stretch of road is called The Lonely Road, if that says anything. And back when the lodges opened up, you needed them to be a lot closer because you had a gravel highway and you had lots of potholes and other issues and cars that were not built the way they are nowadays. So you needed these lodges close to each other for all the flats to be repaired, all the fuel ups. Sorry, I lost my spot. So our big stop for the day on this trip was the village of Teslin. Because when you look at the map from Watson Lake to Whitehorse, you literally you have a bunch of small towns that actually might have like 10 people in them, literally. And then you had Teslin, which was just sort of, I don't know, I should have looked up
Sounds too much like Tesla.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking the population of Teslin might be like 100 or something like that. It's on, oh shoot, what lake is it on? I lost it in my notes. Not Cloyne Lake, that's later. We're gonna run into it.
So it's like almost as big as Littlestown.
Nowhere, yeah, nowhere near as big as our town. Yeah, jokingly, but I think we got like 4,500 here or something like that.
I think so. I just
Yeah.
like to keep claiming it's a lot smaller.
Yeah,
I like to say you have like 45 people.
We've got 5 people. So Teslin had like I think there's 2 motels. It has the largest native population in the Yukon, I believe, and it's a Tlingit village. And there's even a couple museums there. If I can find in my notes here, okay, one of the museums is the Northern Wildlife Museum, which was next to what's called the Yukon Motel, and so we did on our brief break in there, walk in and take a look at that. I think it was free. I don't believe I had to pay for that. But the one that I really want to see, sometime we're going up and doing the highway again at some point. And I keep,
Fly this time.
what's that?
Fly this time.
Yeah, but the point, fly to what? The base of the highway?
Yes, and then take someone else's Jeep.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice. That would
Would save you driving across Ohio.
that would save
Oh,
us driving
God.
across Ohio,
You're gonna make me do that?
Indiana. Illinois was not that exciting either. There's another one in there. Wisconsin. Wisconsin was sort of Wisconsin was just sort of
realize-
upsetting too.
You
What's
do
that?
realize when we do this, to save myself from absolute boredom, I'm going to have to find every single American roadside attraction. Like, I'm going to go look at the biggest pile of sticks someone could put next to the
If
side
we
of
can
the
find
road.
it, that's awesome. Yeah, you're right. Wisconsin cheese. We can stop at the cheese shops.
No,
No? What?
I don't
Why?
like cheese.
What?
You can go see the pink elephant.
I will go.
Poutine. You don't want poutine? Cheese curds.
No, cheese curds disturb me.
The lactose intolerant guy wants to stop at all the cheese shops in Wisconsin.
Dear God, no, we're skipping Wisconsin.
I just want to see the house on the rock. All right, so back on this. One of there's so many things that we missed on this trip just because we were trying to power through to Whitehorse, largely because there's only so much time people can take off, and there was only one person on the whole trip who was a teacher. That was me. I think there was a couple people who owned their own businesses, so they could step out for a bit. But most people needed to get back, so it's like when we got to the end of the trip, there were some people who, after Fairbanks, just shipped their vehicles back. That would have been nice. I would very happily just skip a lot of the return trip. But one of the museums there is the George Johnston Museum. I really wanted to see that. And that is, George Johnston was a Tlingit elder and a trapper. He was also took a hell of a lot of photographs.
Oh, cool.
So he
Nice.
really documented the changes in their culture around the early 20th century.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's a ton of his photos. It's neat because they'll pop up in discussion in the Yukon forum on Facebook a lot. He also brought one of the first cars up there. So before the Alaska Highway, before any real highways up there, he brought a 1928 Chevrolet, and then outfitted it for hunting and trapping.
how did he get it up there without destroying it?
It has to have come up by the lake. And the lake is driving me crazy. Could you look up the village of Teslin on your phone and see what lake that is on? Because I wrote my notes differently this time, and it's really hurting me.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
I should go back to just handwriting next time.
We'll have to find
I keep wanting to call it the wrong lake.
Teslin.
Teslin in the Yukon. Do 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 do
Oh,
do
just-
do do.
Okay, Teslin. Okay, got it. We don't have Tesla. We have Teslin.
Not
Now we're
Teslin.
getting somewhere.
Do do do.
You're not going to like
do.
this.
What?
You're going to be upset.
It's Teslin Lake.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, it made it easy.
Well, that's just one of those. Is it really? Is the lake really called Teslin?
It's called Teslin Lake.
Okay.
It's a long finger lake, so I
Yeah.
could see where you could use the lake for navigation because it looks like it goes quite a ways north-south.
Yeah, I got it into my head in the last 2 hours. It was called something else. I apologize to anybody who's up there. So yeah, I want to see the George Johnston Museum the next time. And so we were there only briefly on the way up. We did not realize that this would be a major point of our return journey.
As so happens.
What? As so happened. Yeah. So what's that called?
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. There we go. That was a little bit of foreshadowing. All right. Oh, shoot. Okay. So we had 2 copies printed up, and now I'm realizing that it's 2 pages at a time. So as I flip the notes, I have to move 2 pages to get to the next set of notes. All right. After Teslin, I made the bright attempt to try and take Mortimer out on his own again, and was excitedly driving up the Alaska Highway as my ex drove Junior, the newer Jeep, when Bill, who was in the Jeep towing a little matching teardrop camper, went whizzing by us shouting about white smoke. And I look in my rearview mirror, and Mortimer's doing this dreadnought on D-Day, cloud of white smoke behind him, which was not a head gasket issue. I forget what we eventually figured out was causing that, but it definitively was not a head gasket issue. For those who don't know, when your head gasket goes, then your coolant starts to mix in with the firing in the engine, and you get this wonderful, sweet-smelling cloud of white smoke.
And your Jeep has elected a new pope.
Yes, yes. There's a new pope.
It should go smoking.
What is it? What are the colors of smoke? They've got like the white smoke, and then they've got the gray smoke, or just the white smoke?
Does white, when there's an election of a new
It's a
pope?
different color when the conclave is going on.
Right, that might be the gray or the black or something.
What's the purple smoke? Oh, there isn't. Okay, cool. I'll keep going. Sorry.
Prince concert.
Prince concert. There we go.
It's Purple Rain.
I can't make it purple rain. I can do purple smoke, but I can't make it purple rain.
We'll go across the room.
We ended up hitching Mortimer back up behind Junior again and heading on. As we came closer to Whitehorse, yeah, that's how interesting this section of the trip is. We're just going to go, okay, now we're getting closer to Whitehorse. We started to experience casualties. Joe and Emily in their CJ3B disappeared. Joe and Emily and their CJ3B disappeared. When they caught up again, we pulled over and waited for them to catch up. When they caught up again, apparently what had happened was Joe felt his trailer bounce over something on the highway. When he pulled over, he found that a part of his trailer was missing.
Oh,
And then they backtracked down the highway to find a piece of angle iron lying out in the road.
that can't be good.
No, it's not good. And so this is like the smoother, better paved sections of the highway, and we've got one trailer rattling apart at this point. We also had a handful of folks sort of disappear from the trip at that point, but this is a good thing. Dave and Ann Eilers, Dave's the one who runs ewillies.com. It was one of our organizers. It's really primarily him and Bill who sort of set this thing up. David and Eilers had headed off course with Hugo and his son Fernando on a side quest. They went to take a photo with Hugo at the historic mile 883 of the old Alaska Highway. And since the highway's been moved and straightened at different points, there's these sections of old highways, some of which you can still navigate. They're just sort of like side roads at this point. And over at the importance of mile 8.
Side quest to a side road.
Yeah,
Was it on a Saturday?
was it on Saturday? No,
No, he said
no, I
earlier-
think I
no, he
already
said earlier
said.
it was on a Tuesday.
I think this is a Tuesday right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
Tuesday the 1st.
It wasn't a side quest Saturday.
No, not Side Quest Saturday.
That's a thing from where I was at. That's another story. So,
So mile
Did you
883
get sidetracked?
yes.
sidetracked on Side Quest Saturday.
This is all going quite sideways.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Good movie. All right. Mile 83 is where the old Marsh Lake Lodge stood. And the importance of this is in 1955, when Hugo and his friends drove up the Alaska Highway, they stayed there. And Hugo drew a cartoon in the logbook, in the lodge logbook of a Jeep driving from Brazil to Alaska. I probably mentioned this in a prior episode. And it was this find in an old logbook that led to a fellow named Stephen Reynolds in Whitehorse researching and finding Hugo, and then Dave Eilers inviting him on the trip. So the Marsh Lake Lodge, where he'd filled in that lodge book, had burned down years before. But happily, there was another lodge called the Inn at the Lake nearby. So they took Hugo for a surprise birthday lunch at the Inn at the Lake, because this also happened to be his birthday that he's at the spot that he was at in 1955. And there at the Inn at the Lake, they actually got the logbook out and surprised Hugo with the original cartoon that he had written.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
In your jokes aside, in your book, that was one of those really cool things I was reading about in the book. Was just like, oh, that's awesome! Like he drew this like all those years ago.
And the thing is, he drew it all those years ago. The lodge burned down. Somehow or other, that logbook survived and ended up somewhere in Whitehorse. Stephen Reynolds, who was on I think he worked for the tourism department. I don't know where he found it. And then it just happened to be this whole synchronicity that rolled together of, I think it was Jeep related, so he got a hold of Dave because Dave had the Willys site, and then they started researching, and so there were 3 guys who were on that trip. And at the time, Hugo was the only surviving member of the 1955 trip. So to find him surviving and thriving down in Brazil, and then to be able to get him and his son to come on the trip, basically so you could orchestrate, and a lot of it came down to just orchestrating this cool 84th birthday for him at this mile 883 and then in Whitehorse itself, which was really, really cool. So yeah, I put in my notes here that it's the start of the 84th birthday for Hugo. So while Operation Pineapple, that was Hugo's original trip, was called Operation Pineapple, was meandering down memory lane, Bill took us into Miles Canyon because apparently David told him to take us there. And it's a beautiful canyon. There's a suspension bridge that goes over it. It's very pretty nowadays, but if you start to think about it as a place that you were taking rafts down, can I finish my sentence?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you start to think about it as a place that you're taking rafts down, and then there's a huge set of rapids after it. This is what the Klondike Gold Rushers was one of the areas where they had to make it through in 1898. Yeah.
All right, so this is going back to Hugo for a second.
Yeah.
Why was it called Operation Pineapple?
I will get to that in a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, there is an absolute reason for it.
I figured there was because that's so specific.
Yep. Yeah, I've got it down in my notes here because it actually pops up in a page or two. So it was at let's see, Klondike Gold Rush, Gold Seekers, people drowning. All right, moving on from that. It was at Miles Canyon that we decided to. So we had the camping crew and we had the hotel crew, and both doing their own things. And without totally knowing the plan for what was supposed to go on in Whitehorse, the hotel crew wanted to get the camping crew on board with all staying in the same hotel with them. And I have to say, as I'm going through the notes on this, and reading the book too, and then I'm remembering back to the literally just flying by the seat of our pants, having absolutely no clue what the next plan was. So when people are like, "Oh, we're all doing this," right? Okay, I have no clue what's going on. I just keep driving this direction with the rest of you. And when a group of you disappear, I panic for a little bit. And then you reappear and the world is better. And I stop crying. So we managed to check our funding. There was one camping jeep that everybody pooled funds for to make sure that they could actually stay at the hotel too. So for the first time in a couple days, we got like showers and actual beds and stuff like that.
Running water.
I know, running water is so
Woohoo.
wonderful.
Luxury.
Yeah, running water, not using a chemical toilet in a provincial campground. Let me now find our next page because got the doubling thing. It's going to confuse me. Okay, Whitehorse. I
Are we
can't.
there yet?
We are rolling into Whitehorse. We are ridiculously close to Whitehorse. Like,
Woo!
yeah, we're driving up the river actually.
Yay.
So Whitehorse, quite honestly, I'd love to just go spend like a month or two in Whitehorse and just go out exploring the countryside around there because it's a small city. I should have looked up the population of, but it's just cool. There's just something nice about it.
Your population on Tesla was about right.
What?
It's gone up and down, but it's been in the hundreds. I think now the latest was like a little over 200 people for Tesla.
Oh my God. So effectively when we ran
Those
into it again, we
shoelaces are no longer yours.
raised their population. So
Oh yeah, no, yeah. You cause a percentage change to the population when you rolled in there.
Oh, Lordy.
this will come up again. Once again, there was some foreshadowing. We will be revisiting Tesla.
As a side note, the cat is attacking Matt's shoes. This cat being Chai.
Yeah,
Started
the
with
cat, the chicken.
Shoelace. Now
Chicken?
it's
No.
The shoelaces
shoe.
now belong to Chai.
Kitten is the word that I want.
Kitten?
Kitten.
Kitten.
I've called her a chicken for a second. So you got a population there for us?
Closer. Oh no, quite large actually in
Really?
comparison. Yeah. So was it 2016? It was like 25,000.
Really? I didn't realize it was that large. Wow. But yeah, Whitehorse is a really wonderful place. So we drove up the Robert W. Service Way, and I realized I still owe our listeners a reading of his poem, The Cremation of Sam McGee. I meant to put that on video and put it on Instagram a couple weeks ago. I will do that sometime soon. And when you come into town, you drive around a rotary or roundabout, depending on where you're from. It's that thing that you drive in circles on. There's a bunch of roads going into. I think down here we call them roundabouts. New England we call them rotaries. I'm sure somebody else has some whiz-bang thing for them.
Traffic circle.
There we go. Traffic circle. There. So one of those three things listeners should recognize. When you drive around the traffic circle, you see the SS Klondike, and this will come into play in a bit. It's one of the last Yukon paddle wheelers. The two others that were in Whitehorse, there used to be like three of these paddle wheelers in Whitehorse, and two of them burned in 1974. They never figured out exactly what happened. Other ones of that fleet, and these are the ships that were taking supplies from Whitehorse up the Yukon River to Dawson City and places along the way. Of that fleet, the Kino, you can still see in Dawson City, and the Tutsi, I don't know how to say this, Tutshi, the Tutsi, was in Carcross, but it burned a couple years ago, so there's some of it left, which is
Hold
sad.
on. Carcross.
Carcross.
Tasha, name rating?
Carcross.
I like the alliteration. That's all it's got.
Okay. What was do we have a name rating for rating? Did we do a name rating for Tesla?
Meh.
Oh, geez. That's it. Offend an entire tribe.
Oh, good Lord.
Tasha will be writing a in-depth apology letter to the Twingut. Please expect that in the next month or two.
I will cry. I will cry.
That's not helping anything.
No, I know.
Whitehorse. What's your rating for Whitehorse so we can offend 25,000 people?
Look, it's just that we like exciting
It's too late for
names,
you
like-
and your white horse to come around. I don't know what else to tell you.
We just like exciting names like Toad Squish or whatever. So
Toad River.
Toad River.
Okay, so Toad River, you still stand as the favorite for this trip so far. All right. So back into the Whitehorse. I got totally lost there. All right.
Steamboats, paddle
Yeah,
wheels.
steamboats, paddle wheelers. There we go. Yeah. So you can still see the Kino and Whitehorse. In fact, they just did a big restoration on that recently, I believe. Moving on, back to Whitehorse. We settled into the hotel, parked our Jeeps out in front. So they're very picturesquely lined up down the street all together. And found out our schedule for the rest of the day, which is basically wander around, do what you will, but you have to be back here in time for a special dinner. The special dinner turned out to be the Department of Tourism and Culture in Whitehorse, through Hugo, a birthday party.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
So you had the city of Whitehorse throwing a birthday party for Hugo, and they covered all of us.
The Tourism Board of South Bend wishes they could do this.
Yeah, Larry, drunk and comatose beneath his desk, wishes he had any budget whatsoever. And I believe this was all initiated by the fellow who had originally found that writing of the logbook. So it's amazing. You think about, you may draw a cartoon at some point and just think it's a cute little thing, and somebody might find that 60 years down the road, and it'll become this entire thing that drags you back to another country. So in the bit of time we had until the birthday party, we wandered around Whitehorse. They were in the middle of what they considered a heat wave. We walked into Max Fireweed Books. It was a nice bookstore on the main street. And I remember them people standing around the counter muttering around about the heat wave. It was in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I think it was 84 degrees specifically. I just remember that because they were so upset about 84 degrees because...
Quite warm.
Yeah, yes, that's extremely warm for them up there. And as they're talking about this, I joined in the conversation and said that we had just driven from Maryland. And the person behind the counter is just staring at me and asked about the temperatures down in Maryland. And I said, well, it can get to the high 90s, sometimes hits 100, which you could read the absolute horror on these people's faces. And why would you live in a place that's like that? And I'm sitting there going, and I don't think it's too bad because it's not Arizona, at least.
It was the temperature conversion. They were panicking because they thought you were talking in Celsius.
I remember it was specifically mentioned it was 84 degrees Fahrenheit at one point. So, but yeah, I could see that. That'd be funny. Look back, go, oh, okay, wait, that's a lot more. Yeah, so honestly, I don't like it above 80, so I can sort of commiserate with them a little bit. We wandered around a bit. There's several museums and cultural centers in Whitehorse that, once again, this is why I'd like to just go spend some time in Whitehorse. There's a whole list. You go online and you can find them. Two that we walked by were the McBride, which is just sort of an all-around history and cultural museum for the area. The Yukon Transportation Museum, which I desperately just want to go back and play in for several hours. So that's going to be a definite visit. I think we walked down the Riverwalk too, which is nice. We headed back to the hotel for dinner, and with all the Jeeps lined up outside, including Russ got his troublesome Jeepster, the Rubber Duck, lined up with all the rest.
Yay.
Yep. Yeah. That poor thing, I think by that point we knew it had blown a couple main bearings and had virtually no oil pressure, so it was just like, we'll just get it out so it can move it a few feet. I mean, Mortimer was in fantastic health in comparison. So we got to the restaurant, and the restaurant was all done up with balloons. We got the whole gang in there, and basically just had the whole place for us and other people visiting from Whitehorse coming in. Hugo had a gorgeous birthday cake and a pineapple. He was presented with a pineapple.
Pineapple.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell me about the pineapple.
So the pineapple would end up actually, for a period of time on the rest of the trip, would end up stuck in the spare tire on the back of his Jeep. This pineapple will come up again, though.
Reoccurring pineapple.
Yes, reoccurring pineapple. And he
Small
also,
plot device.
yeah, and his Jeep, I'll have to put a picture of his Jeep because his Jeep did have the Operation Pineapple, the original logo with the pineapple on the side of it, that had been done for him and his son. But we're looking at the pineapple at one point. It was my ex who figured out why it was Operation Pineapple. Because she's sitting there looking at the pineapple, And she looks at me and she goes, I think it's because a pineapple is tricky to eat. Think about it.
Oh,
Yeah. So I went over to Hugo and asked him if that was why it was called Operation Pineapple, and he confirmed. He says to eat a pineapple is a very tricky problem, just like planning out driving a Jeep from Brazil to Niagara and then up the Alaska Highway.
yeah.
So the pineapple was the symbolism for tricky problem.
I love
Oh,
that.
that's
Creative.
nice.
Yeah, really creative. After dinner, the crowd was somewhat frisky and decided to pile in Jeeps and take a celebratory drive around Whitehorse. Possibly not a good idea, but it did happen. Have any of you guys here seen European Vacation?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Have you seen it?
Possibly, but it's been a while.
Okay. Tasha has not. At the time of this, I had probably seen it once or twice, and I did not remember exactly what they were referring to, but there is a scene where I think they get stuck on a traffic circle
Yes.
Yeah.
and they keep
Yes.
shouting Big Ben.
Look, kids, Parliament, Big Ben.
Yeah. So we ended up with this with this crowd of Jeeps down at the traffic circle by the SS Klondike. We got into the traffic circle and then just kept looping the traffic circle. And if you're thinking old Jeeps, they're all open and everything. And every single time we got near the Klondike, the SS Klondike, everybody would point their arms out and shout Klondike. I'm not totally sure how long we held up the traffic circle. Luckily, nobody killed us. I think we probably made at least 5 or 6 loops where of all these Jeeps just going in an endless circle shouting Klondike.
Was alcohol involved?
There was a big party beforehand, and everybody was a bit frisky.
That would answer the question.
Pleading the fifth. So eventually we got off the traffic circle and we got over we parked over by the Klondike, and you have this concerned look about getting off the traffic circle.
I was just,
Did you use roads? No, they're Jeeps. We drove over everybody. Toddlers flying left and right, just like the intersection in Littlestown. What? Did I say that?
No, my thoughts went, I wonder if by the time you got off the traffic circle, if you or your Jeeps were dizzy.
I think we
The
managed
Jeeps.
to stop it just before the
Yes.
epic dizziness sticked us.
Maybe they made the Jeeps dizzy.
I like that.
So maybe some of the decision making afterwards was just because everybody was dizzy.
Dizzy and tipsy.
I know we pulled up by the Klondike, and it was Cowboy and Russ decided that the best thing they could do at that point was film a promotional video for PB Blaster, because Blaster was one of our sponsors for the trip, and they might have regretted it after that. I'm not totally sure. I will have to dig around and see if I can find the video in a way that I can download it and put it up on the Merlin's Barn page on Facebook and the Instagram, because it was pretty darn funny, and there were 3 takes, and I don't remember if it was entirely appropriate or not, and whether somebody higher up in a company would want us actually representing themselves at that point. Amazingly, the Blaster sticker is still holding on my Jeep, although I think it may be on its last legs at this point. So we're what? That was 2017.
That's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, almost 10 years, that sticker. There's a set of stickers that have been, and they were only supposed to be temporary. There's a set of stickers on Junior that have been on him since Dawson Creek, British Columbia, 2017. Which says a lot for whoever made the temporary stickers. Because once again, they weren't supposed to last that long. They're supposed to last like a week or 2 at most. All right, so we've possibly been inebriated, driving in circles, shouting about a ship.
Possibly dizzy.
Possibly dizzy. Pretty sure I was dizzy. Went to bed, enjoyed warm showers, actual beds, no bugs. And in the morning, we remembered that we were in a city of some sort and that there should probably be a Tim Hortons, and then introduced a bunch of our fellow travelers to Tim Hortons because, I don't know, it always strikes me just weird. Probably because I'm just obsessed with it, but I was just like, all these people didn't know Tim Hortons existed. So we hiked them over there.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that one.
What about being obsessed with it? The cabinets filled with Tim Hortons. The fact that I almost had a heart attack this morning when I realized I'm almost out of Tim Hortons dark coffee and I'll have to go into the reserve supply of Tim Hortons regular coffee.
We just picked that up when we were, didn't we?
I don't remember. I can't keep track at this point. I'm always buying Tim Hortons. If there's a red container that says Tim Hortons on it, I panic that we're possibly out of it and buy more. Which is amazing. Which is why I'm
know.
amazed that we only have one bag of the dark coffee left. Oh, you know what? Maybe we did buy more. I just haven't looked in bags from our trip.
I think we did.
Okay,
I think we got something. from the
folks,
gas
you have
station.
you have been in on a common conversation here as to whether we have enough Tim Hortons. And Tim Hortons, if you hear this and you want to sponsor us, we would love it. We would absolutely love it. It'd be fantastic.
I mean, I think a solidifying moment in like our friendship in the very beginning was when I dropped my Tim Hortons mug at school.
That was the most horrifying thing I could ever imagine.
I wanted to cry. It was not good.
They were having a bad day and they posted it on Facebook. And I just looked
No, I
at
texted it to you directly because I'm like, this is
Oh.
the one person who's going to get it.
So I went on eBay and spent about an hour on eBay until I could find the exact replacement cup because I was just like, no, dude, no.
Wow. It does not come out of the cabinet often anymore, which I feel bad about, but also I don't want to risk it.
A side note about coffee mugs. So, the Ediville Railroad in South Carver, Massachusetts,
Mhm.
the narrow gauge railroad through the Cranberry Bogs.
Yeah.
I went there when I was a kid, and my dad had a mug from there, and then it broke one day, and I have a saved eBay search for Ediville Railroad and I have not come across. I've come across a similar mug. Found an Ediville Railroad mug that I gave him for Christmas a couple of years ago, but I've not found that exact one that he had.
Oh no.
I've been a saved search for years now. I've been looking.
You're making me think I should stock up on my favorite mug, which I mean, my favorite Tim Hortons mug is just the General Canada one from a few years back. And I was opening a bag on the kitchen table one day,
Oh, God.
and the bag suddenly ripped open, and my hand hit the mug, and the mug went flying, and it became a mug and a handle.
That was a rough morning.
Yeah, that was an entire morning just going, the only way I can actually solve this and not be really, really angry about the bag is to find this mug in existence somewhere. I don't know whether I got it on eBay or Etsy or what, but
Probably eBay.
I did find it, and I was like, okay, I can breathe. I'm fine. I might still have the broken one somewhere just as a backup in case.
That always sounds accurate.
It's the things we do.
I
All right. So we had Tim Hortons. That was a good start to the day, and everything went to hell in a handbasket from there. We did not realize, I always call August 2nd on the Alaska Highway as the day the Alaska Highway tried to kill us.
Oh.
Yeah, because,
Quite a statement.
yeah, if it could go wrong, it went wrong. It was just, and we're not even going to get through, we're only going to get through like a small part of that day.
Like Murphy's Law bad?
Just everything. It was just, I mean, but in the next episode, we'll get into the condition of the highway in some areas. We'll get into the wondrous town of Beaver Creek. We'll get into the demilitarized zone between Canada and the U.S. because there's a whole section that's just nobody will take care of. We'll get into all of that sort of stuff. But we did start, and we did start with like one of our big things we were going to hit on the 2nd was Destruction Bay.
That's a stellar name.
Yeah, that's so 10 out of 10 for Destruction Bay.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much there, but I really want a bumper sticker that says this Jeep has been to just Destruction Bay.
I want to know why it's called Destruction Bay.
I will get to that in a little bit.
Oh, yay!
Yes. So, but before getting to Destruction Bay or anything like that, we just had, I put it in my notes like this. You ever have one of those days where you wake up and within an hour there's a billboard, that gigantic billboard just in the middle, in front of you that says, "Give up now and go back to bed."
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This was, we very quickly had that billboard because everybody got breakfast. We thought we were coordinated on leaving Whitehorse. And one group left, and the other group, I believe I was in the second group, sat around waiting for the first group to meet up with us so that we could leave. And after a little while of sitting around not seeing other Jeeps, we finally got on phones and coordinated and found out that one group, that the other group had left without us
Oh,
because they misunderstood what we were doing. So they pulled over right outside of Whitehorse and started and very nicely decided to wait for us. And at that time, so Joe Biedenkopf was usually with his CJ3B with the trailer that's already lost a part, was usually driving right behind Bill Reese, who had the blue CJ5 with a matching little teardrop trailer he'd custom built for it. So they're talking while they're waiting for us to catch up, and they're taking a look at Joe's trailer and realizing that there are actually more problems, and that the welds that hold the body to the frame are breaking loose on
oh.
What?
it. Yeah. So not only has a whole part broken off of the trailer at this point from the constant hammering of the Alaska Highway, and once again, this is August 2nd, we had not seen the worst of the Alaska Highway at this point.
How old was this trailer?
It was probably it was a 1950s military trailer.
Okay, that
It was
makes me
in,
feel less upset.
it was in very good shape when we left, though.
And I can
Not
understand that.
anymore.
Yeah,
But I still,
yeah,
yeah.
he had a really good setup on it. He had a giant. It was basically for carrying all their gear. He had a giant wooden cover that he'd made for it, and he'd reinforced because that was where they would put. They had a rooftop tent, like you would put on a Jeep or something like that, and the rooftop tent mounted on top of that wooden cover. So whenever they pulled into a camping area, he'd just get out, pull the cover up, pull the cover off the rooftop tent, unfold that, and they had they had their world right there. But as they're talking and they're looking at Joe's trailer, then Bill's like, Bill built his trailer from scratch. So Bill's like, I'm going to go take a look at my trailer, which Bill also, because he thought it would look cool. His Jeep had a dually rear on it. For those who don't know what that means that there's two wheels on each side on the rear. Not one in front of the other, they're sort of stacked like pancakes, but up down. Go look it up. It'll be easier. He decided that it'd be really cool that since the rear of his Jeep was dually, that his trailer should be a dually too. Which with the little diesel engine he had, that was absolutely amazing. He had some regrets about going up mountainsides hauling this trailer that weighed more than it ever possibly should because it had a cool looking dually rear on it. But he gets up.
Anything for the aesthetics.
Anything for the aesthetics. It was beautiful. It was really cool. You look at the photos, it's great. They keep popping up with my posts. So he looks at the tongue on the front of his trailer, and there's fractures a good way around both sides of the steel. At which point Joe's sort of getting this look, realizing that, oh, that's going to fracture at any time. That could have fractured at any time. And since he was the one right behind Bill, if the tongue of the trailer fractured, that trailer would let loose and then just Joe would go right into it. So they're having a happy time at this point.
Woo!
Yeah, they're having a real good happy time. In steps MacGyver, our friend who's obsessed with beer cozies, who's riding with Marty, our friend who's been fixing everything on this trip so far. Our friend whose name is actually Dawn, which is easier to say than MacGyver over and over again. So Don just happens to have in the over-prepared Marty also had a little military trailer behind his Jeep. They just happen to have amongst the 5 million beer cozies that were in there, literally 5 million. If you were standing by the side of the road and you had a beer and you didn't have a cozy on it, he would go to the trailer, get one, take your beer from you, put the cozy on it, give you your beer back. There was an unending supply of beer cozies in that trailer.
Why?
I don't know. Everybody's got their thing.
Autism?
Risen with autism.
It's much.
Each person, yeah.
Beer cozy evangelist.
It was like beer cozy evangelism. I mean, it's like, I don't feel that
special interest on me.
my life was changed by it, but I did know that that you would not be drinking a beer or anything that a cozy could fit on in his presence without a beer cozy on it. So, but back to that, in the trailer, in beer cozy trailer, there happened to be a welder. So, and heavy steel to make repair plates and everything like that. These guys are like the real deal off-roaders. So he gets the welder out. We steal the car battery we steal the battery out of one Jeep, take it over to the Jeep pickup truck, which also happened to be 12 volt. Make a 24 volt system. Don hitches the welder up to that. A couple of us got to work with brushes and things like that, cleaning up the frame. And Don used the front bumper of Joe's Jeep as a workbench and cut steel plates to reinforce Bill's to reinforce the tongue of Bill's trailer. And in a little bit, he'd welded Bill's trailer back together. It did not, in any way, shape, or form, look like it was done on the side of the Alaska Highway. It didn't look like it was done on the side of any highway. It looked like a professional job done in a shop, not by a guy
Nice.
holding dark glasses in front of his face. He had like a welder's sunburn
Oh.
after that because he didn't have like a full hood or anything to do this. And then when he got done with Bill's trailer, well, we might as well keep Joe's trailer from bursting apart. So we went back and welded Joe's trailer back together.
It is the kind thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys got trailers and they're falling apart, weld all of them. Make sure people have beer cozies, all of the important things in life.
Exactly.
So I feel like those days where you have that billboard, I feel like that was our billboard. I feel like that billboard should have screamed, there's a really nice hotel. You could add a day to the trip and just spend another nice day in Whitehorse. The sad thing, that wouldn't have done anything for us, though, because no matter what, we had to make it through the next section of the highway. So
But you had Don
we have Don.
and his beer cozies
Thank God we had Don.
and his welder to save the day.
Exactly. If we didn't have him, there were so many things that would have fallen apart. I mean,
You all would have been screwed.
yeah. I mean, you had a bunch of really good mechanics. I mean, people think I'm a good mechanic. I think I'm a middling mechanic, especially compared with like Joe Biedenkopf, who's a amazing mechanic and fabricator. Bill Reese, and then just Don was mind blowing and had the equipment. Exhaust breaks off of something, weld it back on. This breaks, weld it back on.
Says the man who made an exhaust out of tin peach cans.
I was rather proud of that. In a
I
prior
know.
episode, you can find out all the weird things I've done to keep Volkswagens alive on the highway and what I've done to upset people in the places that have given me the parts.
Giving yourself really damn good burns.
Yes, yeah, those two. All right, so jumping back into my notes here. All right, with everybody fit as a fiddle and ready to go, we headed back out. And our next real landmark would be actually Haynes Junction, which I believe there might be a population of 10 there or something like that. I'm not sure, maybe 20. Matt sighs and goes and looks it up again.
We can find out.
We can find out. Literally, you get to Haynes Junction and you take a right turn.
As Hanes, it makes me think of the underwear brand.
That's
So-
a different kind of junction.
So
Stop!
it's interesting. I think it was Haynes Junction. Like, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but this trip caused a huge amount of caused. I think all of our cigarette smokers to stop smoking, because the price of a pack of cigarettes in Canada in 2017 was, I think it was over $20.
Oh, wow.
You're
Well, that's
way
part of their how to
underselling
quit.
Haynes Junction.
Oh, is Haynes Junction a bigger one?
2016, 613.
Oh, I must be thinking of like Carcross or Johnston Crossing or something like that. Okay, so Haynes Junction's a lot bigger. So it's probably another one that I'm thinking of, because I know, like, if you went in to buy cigarettes in a store in Canada or any smokes, you know how you go into a 7-Eleven and there's the whole wall of smokes screaming "Buy me."
Yes.
They have that wall in Canada, but it's covered by gray steel doors. So if you want to go into the 7-Eleven and buy a smoke from the Buy Me from that section, you have to know what they have. So not only is the price insanely prohibitive, but you have the whole awkwardness of, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this?
Well,
That was like their whole plan on how to like
Yeah,
bring down the
it's worked
smoker
pretty well.
levels.
Carcross had 301 people.
Okay. But I think it was Haynes we went into. There like one of the places we went in there, instead of like the gray wall of metal doors, it was the smokes were on shelves with
The
just like
pre-packaging.
little curtains across so that you couldn't see the
Oh,
smokes. Yeah, they didn't have the steel doors. They just had curtains like they'd taken out of grandma's house.
different kind of pretty packaging than what I was going for, but okay.
Well, I think their big goal is for you to actually not know that they're there. So heading from Haynes up to Cloyne Lake, that was that was our next step, and you head up that direction. The highway has moved a lot around there, so there's a lot more closed lodges, and I was looking on. I've gone over a good amount of the Alaska Highway on Google satellite maps, and there's a whole section up there that I can see where the original highway was, and I desperately would just want to take a Jeep and see if I can make it through what's left there. Another thing with our just constantly bombing along, as I said, we've missed like museums and other things. There's a ghost town at the base of Cloyne Lake. So we come from Chains Junction, and there was a ghost town called Silver City that, if it's still standing in several years, when we go back, or last years if I find money somewhere, yeah,
Sponsors, please.
yeah, that's how we got up there the last time, was actually
know.
sponsors.
Sponsors through podcasts.
Yeah, we need more listeners. Please review and share. Thank you. That's our bit for the day. So we got past Silver City.
Just an ice cream sponsor.
What's that?
I was just an ice cream sponsor.
An ice cream sponsor?
Mm-hmm.
Like an ice cream company?
Maybe Klondike bars.
Nice.
I mean, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
I drive the Alaska Highway. Again.
See?
There we go.
See?
Okay, that works. Okay,
That's what we do
Klondike.
for Klondike
Whoever
bar.
produces you, buy into this. We got Tim Hortons and Klondike bars so far.
Then you can have Klondike bars like in front of the Klondike.
That'd be awesome. Okay, we got to do that next time, even if we have them a sponsor or not. We'll just keep bringing up Klondike bars until they block us.
I like the mint ones and the Choco Tacos.
What? Did you say tacos?
The Choco Taco?
The Choco Taco.
Wasn't it discontinued?
Why is taco
Yes.
involved with ice
Yes,
cream?
it was. And it was a sad day.
Truly.
What is this?
So, the Choco Taco.
I'm upset.
It
There's no
was
corn involved. It's okay.
a waffle cone
Mm-hmm.
made to look like a taco shell.
Oh, I can deal with this. Okay, I'm in on
Yes.
this. I was afraid it was like.
No, it was, yeah, it's a waffle cone ice cream sandwich in the shape of a taco.
It's beautiful.
I'm in with that.
There
Okay,
was a
I'm sad. And
lot
I'm
of
sad
chocolate
and I miss it.
shell and chocolate chips and
And
drizzle.
I never saw one.
It was a mess, but it was so.
Maybe that's why they killed it. All right. So, heading back up, we pass Silver City, and we're heading towards what's called the Elias Mountain Range. Where did we get to? We ended up stopping for lunch at the Sheep Mountain Interpretive Center, which is about a half hour south of Destruction Bay. So this could be our wind down spot for the day
This is where Matt pops up from petting the cat.
because of
Sheep Mountain Interpretive Center?
Sheep Mountain Interpretive Center,
What is
south of
being
Destruction Bay.
interpreted? And is it being interpreted by sheep or for sheep?
I would love it if the sheep had come down from the mountains and started interpreting things for us. Like maybe just like the local language into English, or interpretive dance by mountain sheep. That'd be great.
I like the idea of it being interpreted for the sheep. You're just out there, someone's out there just talking to the sheep.
What are these humans doing? Well, let's explain it to the sheep. Yeah, the sheep, it was,
We tried to show the cats where Antarctica is.
yeah, that didn't work out too well. Shackleton
He
didn't
did
want
try
to
to
know.
interpret for the cats.
Yeah.
And Bowie. Bowie got it.
They have on the walks outside the interpretive center, they have, if I remember right, they have binoculars for sheep spotting up the mountainsides,
Sheep
which is really cool because you can look through these and you'll see all the little white sheep wandering around up there.
You know when the movie studios make a sequel and they just shouldn't? Sheep Spotting. It was a sequel to Train Spotting.
No! One of my favorite songs is from Train Spotting.
The
Fun
guys
fact.
are older and milder, and now they're just watching sheep. There's nice museum in there. I don't know if it was actually open that day, but we sort of unhitched and spread out. And I'll put up photos of this. I remember turning around at one point, and Bill and Jim were having an epic silly fight in the parking lot. another point, everybody who had a lawn chair took it out on a dried section of the lake and just got a group photo out there lounging on the non-beach.
No.
We unhitched Mortimer, and there was a section of original Alaska Highway there, so we ran him up the original section. We got a couple photos of him like heading into the water of Cloyne Lake.
Getting a drink.
Yeah, getting a drink. A really cool
Sounds
thing
wild and free.
right by the interpretive center was there was an abandoned log cabin. It was in amazing shape for how old it must have been. And so there was this cabin with a sort of a shed next to it. And then there was a big hill behind it with a cross up on top of the hill. So we had to sort of piece together this puzzle. And some artist or prankster had decided to make things weirder. And in the shed next to the cabin had put a mannequin in old style garb with its hands on a like 1980s computer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, we are in the middle of nothing in an abandoned cabin in the middle of nothing. And what the heck?
And you worked in a school that had that in the basement.
Yeah, it was not my last high school. But yeah, we found out the cabin belonged to a Captain Alexander Clark Fisher. I think he'd been a trapper and a hunter out there, and he lived from 1870 to 1941. And he died. It's interesting because the old Alaska Highway goes within feet of the front door of his cabin. So he died a year before the world came to his doorstep. Which worked out pretty well because he had no desire in the world being on his doorstep, which was why he was out there. And when we hiked up the hill up behind the cabin, the cross is his burial spot.
Oh.
Looking out over his favorite place and out over Cloyne Lake.
Okay, that's lovely.
Yeah. It's I'll try and find a photo of that for the for the post that goes with this. So that was a cool find. And then we hit the road again. And I'm going to stop there because the next leg of the journey is going to be the one where everything goes to hell in a handbasket pretty quickly.
We just did that.
What's that?
There's more?
Yeah, this was the easy section.
Because you were also calling this part Hell in a Handbasket.
No, it's meaning that we were heading into that, I think.
You've used it multiple times,
Okay.
referring to both sections.
This was the nice section.
Okay,
It was
thank you for
fairly
the
nice.
clarification.
It was fairly nice from Whitehorse up to Cloyne Lake. But you can find it. But you can find like people reviewing the hike.
Going to hell in a handbasket. Still at an early part of the journey. They were stopping for snacks,
Yeah.
having a good time.
Oh.
Filling the handbasket.
Oh, and I owe you a Why is Destruction Bay called Destruction
yes.
Bay?
Yes, you do.
That one's pretty simple, which was when the Army was building the Army was building the Alaska Highway through there. They had a whole sort of village of buildings set up there, and the winds came up and wiped out the village.
Is it the winds?
Wind off the
okay.
lake tore down the buildings. At that point, the village became known as Destruction Bay.
Was it as bad as the winds for Edmund Fitzgerald?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I would imagine pretty comparable. It was taking out buildings.
Did wipe out a small town's worth of buildings, so yeah, it could be. But
Okay.
yeah, no. So with that, we're going to say enough is enough and call an end to it here. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Klondike bars, cats, whatever weird thing has popped into anybody's head in the last minute?
I'm just going to stop asking weird questions for the evening, I think.
Okay,
I think our
good.
neighbor actually has a black sheep.
Really?
John?
There were no black sheep on the mountainside, just white sheep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that the sheep are probably bighorn sheep.
Probably so. They're probably not domestic.
Our neighbor has domestic sheep. One of them is blackish.
Yeah. I saw that one today.
I don't think she's completely black though.
But I was like, oh, look, an actual black sheep. Kind of blackish.
Kinda.
This will be an episode later, rating the color gradients of sheep. All right,
I'm not even sure what breed of sheep he has.
Fluffy.
fluffy sheep.
Fluffy.
Most of them are fluffy.
The ones with eyes and feet.
Those aren't feet, those are hooves.
The ones with eyes and hooves. The feeted ones are scary. No sheep should have feet. It's weird looking. It's like
Oh,
a Salvador
no.
Dali thing gone wrong.
That's in my brain now. That's in my brain
Yep,
now.
sheep with
Thank
feet.
you.
Now they need shoes.
Just like the Birds with Arms cartoons that were out like
Oh,
a few.
God. All right,
A year
we're
ago.
we're going to stop this before it gets worse. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you haven't fallen off your treadmill or gone yeeted yourself out the window at this point. If you do think of it and you enjoy this, rating it, reviewing it, sharing it, subscribing to it, all of those things help out. But ratings and reviews and shares help the most.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Force a friend to listen to it. Tie them to a chair and make them. Oh, wait, no.
No.
Do not go Clockwork Orange on a friend and make
No.
them listen to it. That would be bad.
You don't put toothpicks in our ears.
No, that's ew, no. Okay, so yeah, bad idea. All
Bad
right.
imagery again.
So this is Merlin signing off. Tasha,
I'm
traumatized.
gone. Yeah.
Tasha's traumatized.
As per
Nicole.
usual.
Nicole from the floor.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for
Toodles.
listening.